I was watching, and it came up in my feed to a recommended video, and it was talking about, it was a guy on there, and he was bashing his child's mother, calling her a bitch, and she had slept with one of my friends, and she was best friends with one of the girls I dated, and he was just going on and on. And I said, you know what, he's a coward. And I based my opinion on the fact that he sat there and talked about somebody who shared her body with him, and they produced a child in the process. I thought he was a coward, and I just didn't. That was very disrespectful, very distasteful. And then I thought about it. I said, you know what? You need to reflect on your own life. And so it took me to a place. Like I told y'all, I had my first daughter in the 10th grade of high school. I wasn't proud of it. I was embarrassed. I stopped going to school. And if y'all saw that video, a lot of people probably didn't. If you watch me for a long time, and welcome everybody, but if you watch all of my videos, which I don't get a lot of views, you may already know this. So if I'm repeating myself, I'm sorry, but this is for people that have come on since I made this video. And the high school counselor called my mom, and I remember his name. He told me, my mom, he said, look, he said, she hadn't been coming to school. He said, now, her grades are very good. He said, but she going to mess up her GPA, and I did. I was like a percentage away from graduating with honors. And back then, they didn't really have scholarships and stuff for single parents. And so I still went off to college, but I didn't get my bachelor's degree till I was 34 years old. But I made it my business to go back and finish it. But my original plan was to go to law school, which I don't really like to talk about my personal life. If you notice, I don't. But I'm trying to. I think that sometimes by us being quiet, we're not living in our purpose, because sometimes the things you share could prevent somebody else from making the same mistake. And I'm saying all that to say this. Young ladies, I encourage you to abstain from having sexual intercourse until you're married, or until you're in a situation where you know that guy is committed and ready to marry you. I would say marriage, though. I can't tell anybody what to do, but I can tell you what happened because of the mistakes I made. First of all, I became a mother very young. So therefore, the life experiences that a person would have had waiting to have their children, I didn't have. Driven across country. I hadn't even had the experience of living on my own before I actually had somebody else to take care of. Do I have any regrets? No, because I think everything that I've been through made me the humble person I am today, the compassionate person that I am today, the go-getter that I am today. I've always had that go-getter spirit, but it escalated when I became somebody's mom. And God blessed me where I was able to get my first job. My daughter was 2 months old when I got my first job. So, and I got my first job working at a charity hospital, typing up hospital cards, checking the patients in, going to obtain signatures for somebody getting ready to have a baby, emergency surgery, things like that. So everything that I went through in life helped me to get where I am today. So I don't have any regrets. But if I can help somebody else, that's my purpose. So that's why I'm sharing my story. And the reason why I'm talking about this is this young lady decided that she either, they say if you give your body away, maybe you didn't love yourself. I don't know. I can't judge. I can't say, because I'm not in anybody else's head. But what I'm saying, I'm going to say for me, I decided to give my body away, something that's supposed to be holy unto God until you're married. And then I ended up a teenage mom, living with my parents, which caused a hardship for them because, when I first had my daughter, I had never had a job. I was too young to work back then. You understand what I'm saying? So that put extra burden on them. They were homeowners. My parents, like I told y'all before, if you've listened to my stories, they did respectful, proud. They were homeowners. Like I said, they worked. They were providers. We never went hungry. We never went without. And I'm very proud of my parents. They're both deceased now. I never heard my parents argue. We never had a situation where the police had to come into our private home to settle our differences. And I just think that's honorable. I really do. I don't know. I just, I'm all over the place, y'all, but I just feel a sense of sadness that a person can get on a platform and just degrade somebody that thought enough of them to give them their body. And I was like, young ladies, my younger self. And I remember my sister, me and my little sister were having a conversation, and she was telling me about my older sister was telling her, and my older sister was telling me this. She had boyfriends, but those boyfriends never knew her under her clothes because she didn't share that part of her body with them. And I think that's the way we should carry ourselves. And I remember my sister saying, she said, if you want this man, don't sleep with him, because he'll have more respect for you because you waited. Because as soon as you sleep with them, they're going to automatically say, what do a man... And that's another thing got me in this situation, in this mindset, is the paternity court. So many people at paternity court, the first thing that guy say, she was sleeping with somebody else. I don't know if she slept with me the first night, or she slept with me. I don't know who else she was sleeping with. You understand what I'm saying? I hope I'm making sense. Because what I'm trying to say is, y'all, young ladies, I remember... I think my daughter, it was getting ready for prom or something. And she was saying that one of the guys had told the guy she went with, man, I don't know why you taking her. She ain't putting out. But you understand? To me, that's somebody to be commended. That's somebody that a man should want, somebody that everybody else didn't have. She saved herself for him. That should make him feel special. And I hate that. I was just saying, when... you meet this guy and he may be nice to you or whatever, and then you decide that you want to lay down with him. Do he really feel the same afterwards? Does he? So, I that's why this is a touchy subject, and I just... I just want better. I want better. And I was talking earlier about the child support. One time I had a thing about child support, and the guy was saying, well, they shouldn't be having these kids. Now, if the kids are already here, that wasn't for that subject. But on child support, yeah, he was right. Because look, if we live according to what is written in the Bible says fornication is a sin. And it's saying that people that fornicate will not enter the kingdom of heaven. So I'm all over the place, but I've been doing some soul searching myself. Have I fornicated? Yes, I have. Do I regret it? Yes, I have. Because for men, a lot of times just another notch on their belt until they find somebody that they want to marry. And then there are some men that's not ever going to marry anybody. Ever. So I don't know. I'm just all over the place, but I just that when I saw that young man say that, it just did something to me. I was like, wow. So that's what you really think of her. So as a woman, let me tell you something. If I was he's a lot younger than me. But if I was a young woman, I know one thing. Yeah, I made mistakes in life, but if there was ever a man to talk about the woman that he had a child with like that, I know he wouldn't be somebody I want to talk to. I wouldn't have anything to do with him, period. I couldn't. I could not. And so I wish that they would have a class, and when the young kids would have, like, I'm a church going person, and 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 I and I respect and I worship God, and I try to live to please Him. I do. Um, and I was doing some things that were ungodly. But the things I did in my 20s, there's no way, a lot of those things I would not do them now, because I've learned, life lessons have taught me that. You know what I'm saying? If I had to do it all over again, I've said this earlier in this video, and I don't know if when I put it together will it be there, I will remain a virgin until I'm married. Just because, like Steve Harvey said, I talked about this, a man going to protect, profess, and provide for the woman that he really wants to be with. And just because a man is with you doesn't necessarily mean that you have his heart. You remember that song? Who made that song? My body's how that song went? Your body's here with me, but my mind is on the other side of town, or something like that. And for me, I feel like a grown man, 100% grown man, he's gonna be with the person he loves, no matter what the cost, no matter the cost. But a lot of times, people ain't in love; they in convenience. You know what I'm saying? It's more convenient to be where you are. But I know situations where, and people always say, "Well, that girl was wild. She was this. She was that." I have seen it. I have seen where a man left his wife, the mother of his only daughter, to go and be with a girl, had never been married, had 5 kids. But he left the convenience to be with who he really loved. I don't know all the particulars, but I do know that incident happened. And so the thing about it is, women, we have to realize is, when a man decides he don't want you, it has nothing to do with you. That's how I feel about it. Because if he's going to be with who he loves, where his heart is, how does that have anything to do with you? That's his heart. Unfortunately, you wasn't the one that he loved. It may sound crazy, but that's how I see it. Like, I've never been the type to run up behind a man. I know some women will run up behind a man to no end. I'm talking about going all out of their way, buying them, running up behind them. I've never done that because I felt like the man is supposed to be the hunter by nature. The Bible says, blessed is a man who find a wife, because in her he found a good thing. It don't say nothing about a woman finding a man. So when the man hunts, and if you're not who he wants, it's not anything to do with you, because you are who you are. And he loves what he loves. If he doesn't love you, don't mean there's something wrong with you. You just don't have his heart. That sounds crazy, but that's just how, at this point in my life, 55 years of living and learning and experiencing and just witnessing. Money cannot buy love. It can't. It cannot. Just like it could buy a house, but it can't make a house a home. It could buy your bed, like the pastor say, but it can't buy your sleep. It's just one of those things. And I don't know. But I'm saying all this to say, my heart goes out to young women. But women, if you can, like the old folks say, hold yourself up and don't go out there and get pregnant by a man that's not your husband. Because then you got the title of being a baby mama, and I cannot stand, y'all. I cannot stand that. I am your son's, your mother, your daughter's mother. I am not your baby mama. I just don't like that. I don't like that. I just don't. And then, women shouldn't have to be in competition for a man. You understand what I'm saying? Why the hell like I say, I'm not competing with nobody for a man. I'm just not going to do it because, look, hey, like I say, he's the hunter. He go after what he wants. I remember my sister told me this story. She was saying that a lady she knew had been married to this man, and they divorced. But they had kids. And so he remarried, and But he and the lady would meet halfway so he can get the kids. I guess he moved to another part of town, or out of town, whatever. I don't have all the particulars, but I just want to get y'all to this point. And so the man said that the lady at one time had to something come up, and she had to drive the kids all the way to him. And so when she got there, she was like, "Oh," she told him. She said, "Wow." She said, "You got to look really good, because you know what? You have to learn to like I said, you don't hold grudges, right? You under no circumstance do you. For me, I don't hold grudges. We had a disagreement, fine. I respect you because you're a person God made you. I don't ever have to be in your presence, but when I see you, I will be cordial enough to speak, because at the end of the day, I want to hear him say, well done. Because here's the thing, what you do, you're going to be judged for. How they do things, they're going to be judged. You understand what I'm saying? And remember, karma doesn't always come back through you. Just like blessings, your cup overflows with blessings. Sometimes when your blessings overflow to your children, your karma can too. So you have to be mindful how you treat people. That's what I always consider that in my life. But but anyway, back to what I was saying. So the lady gets there and she drives up, and the yard is immaculate. Cars nice and clean, house clean. I think they were having some kind of dinner or something at their house, so that's why the lady had to come. And so they were still cordial. That's why I made the last statement. But they were cordial. And so he came out to speak. And maybe the wife did too. I mean, I don't have all the particulars. But she told him, she said, wow. She said, I used to you never would keep the house and the yard and the stuff up like this when we were together. He said, you know why? He said that because you didn't really make it an issue. Think about that. She settled for whatever he was willing to get. But when he got with the other lady, she expected more out of him, and guess what? He fell for it. But you know what it was? He was where he wanted to be. I'm going to tell you something. I remember my sister and my brother-in-law had separated for. Y'all, I'm getting all these texts on my phone. And you know, and people kind. You laid up with a woman and she done got pregnant, but you don't want the baby or whatever. Whatever that woman decided to do, that's her body. Respect her. Love that child, because a child is a gift. It is. And you know what? I tell people, you never know what that child going to be in their lifetime. It's some kids that have come up and squalled in the most horrible, inhumane conditions and tried to be some of the most brilliant people that ever lived. And don't turn your back on people in your family who have drug problems, and you think that because they live a certain way that and you've gone to college and become successful that you're going to turn your back and look down on them. Don't do that. Don't do that. We're all God's children. And, you know, everybody have a story. And a lot of times some people, you know, they got the mental things that they're going through. They got problems in their childhood that they never overcome. And it keeps them timid. They can't grow. But I ain't perfect, like I said. But I just want to come on and tell young ladies, like the old people say, hold yourself up. Don't go out there and have kids before you're able to take care of them. You don't want the government to tell you that you got a family member that's in hardship and may need a place to stay for a month, but you on government housing. So guess what? The government sets the guidelines for your house. You can't have nobody stay with you. You know what I'm saying? That type of stuff. Learn to be self-sufficient. If you have but I've said it. If you have to rely on federal assistance, do that. Use it as a crutch, though. Don't use it for life. That's not what the purpose is. Yeah. And you know, I believe in holding people accountable. I help anybody. But I'm going to teach you to fish. I'm not going to feed you every day. That's what we have got to stop. We have to stop enabling people. If you have a child that's 18 years old, if that child need to have a job. My son is 20. He's not working. He has autism, but he's in school. You know. He has anxiety sometimes. Like I tried to get him to come with me today. He didn't want to come. But he, you know, and I'm not bragging. I give God all the glory, all the praise. My son is a very respectful young man. I watch him. Like if he get out of the car and he going into class up in the school, and somebody coming, especially if it's a lady. If it's a lady, he's going to hold the door open. He's not going to go in that door before she does. But I taught him that. I taught him to be kind. I taught him to be considerate of other people's feelings. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not perfect. I'm not saying I'm perfect. But I've lived long enough to see things that, I see people do conniving, manipulative things. And what happens is your children gets back that karma. You've done things to hurt people and you think nobody understands and nobody knows. But God sees everything. There's nothing he don't see. There's nothing he don't know. And I just what I want to do or what I want to see stop. I want to stop these young girls from getting involved with these guys and all they want is one thing. You lay up with them and then he drop you off or you leave whatever, and then tonight you call him, he won't answer his phone. Guess what? He's probably laying up with somebody else. And that's just nasty. I ain't been perfect. I'm telling y'all, that's not what I'm saying. But when you know better, you do better. And, and it's another thing. I was made aware of a situation where the young man and the woman were together. They had kids. He was living with her. And then he had a baby with somebody else. And then there was this backwards and forth about the outside lady, quote unquote, being a homewrecker. In God's eyes, all of them are sinning because it's fornication with the one he's living with, and the one had the baby because he's not married to anybody. If the home, in my opinion, is not put together by God, you can't break it up. Because you can't break up something that God didn't put together. If God put it together, they'd be married. And I'm saying all this because I'm telling y'all the foundation of the family is missing, and that's a lot of the problem. When you see a lot of stuff go on, crime and all that stuff, a lot of times, not all the time, I'm not saying 100% of the time, but a lot of times the kids are in broken homes. And what I'm saying, when they say broken homes, is the mother and father not together. And that foundation got messed up. You know why? Because have y'all ever read Elizabeth Warren's book, the Middle Income Trap, I think is the name of it? I'm going to find that book today and I'm going to put it down in the description below. This long, I'm going to leave it up. I hope somebody listen to it. But what she was saying was, back in the day, moms would stay home and take care of the kids and dads would go to work. So when the kids got out of school, mom would bake cookies or giving them sandwiches or something, helping them with the homework, getting dinner ready, putting them in the bed. Dad there come home, they sitting down at the table eating and all that type of stuff. Well then, everybody want to go live in the most affluent neighborhoods. They're building bigger homes in another area. Bigger homes, more taxes, better schools. So now your kid's too good to stay here. Y'all want to move over there. But in order to move over there, you need to have 2 incomes. Right? Understand what I'm saying? So, in the midst of getting that big family, mom outside the house, kids coming home, mama not there, dad not there, they getting caught up in things they shouldn't be watching, things they shouldn't be doing, places they shouldn't be. You understand what I'm saying? I don't know. I don't have all the answers. I'm not a social worker. I took a social work class. I think I made a C in it because it didn't pique my interest at the time. But I'm telling y'all, there are too many single parent households. I'm not saying we can't do it, and I say we because I'm a single parent household. But I see the breakdown. I see where the breakdown is. And that's why I go back to the child support. Now you have 1 income households. Ain't no dad coming home because it's the child's father, not the ex-husband. And he may have 3 or 4 different homes where his kids reside, as opposed to one with his wife. Man, y'all, I'm telling y'all, this stuff here, I don't talk about it much. Like, I knew I wasn't going to be a statistic, but when I had that child out of wedlock in high school, I was a statistic. But I knew that wasn't God's purpose for my life. But in a sense, it was. because now I can reach back and tell somebody else what not to do. Look at my life. Don't be like me. Be better. So, I see women and a lot of single moms here on YouTube doing the darn thing. We got kids in college. We got kids graduating from college. We got kids, doing big things, starting their own businesses, raising their own children, having their own families, careers, all that. I see that. But it is hard because the thing that should be shared by two people, one person has to do it. You understand? And it's not easy. I'm not saying it's not possible to do it. It's just not easy. But when we do things that are not done in God's way, that's what happened. Yeah, I know it's not easy for a single mother who's divorced, just like it's not easy for a single mom who's never been married. But that child was made under God's covenant. So that gives that child a little more protection. You understand? It's a lot, y'all. It's a lot. It's a lot. So if I can help one person here today, I want to tell the young women to hold yourself up. And when I say hold yourself up, that's what the old people used to say, don't go out there and have kids. And you're not married to their dad. I'm not saying it's impossible to raise a productive member of society, but it's not easy. Especially if you're going to have a child with a dad that's not present. Because it's important, like a young girl may not know what to do. What do? I got this young man, he likes me, he's nice to me and everything. But you know what? When you first meet somebody, you're meeting the representative of who they really are. And I watch a lot of TV. Like, I watch the ID channel a lot. And, I don't know if it's because of my age and life experiences, but some of the situations these women go through, I see the writing on the wall when they first meet these men. I do. I think my Sam's order didn't even go through because I don't even see it on, and I'm not going in this too late. Nothing else I got a chance to talk to y'all. But what I'm saying, I'm going to keep stressing this. I want to see more two-family households. And that's not to say you won't marry somebody and then he flip on you and he's still not there. But the thing is, you married him. You made a commitment before God. You made a covenant before God that you were going to be with this man and y'all were going to put God first. So if it don't work out, at least God was in the midst when you got together. You understand? Before you started having children. I see and I know about single parent struggles. You understand that? If I could tell you that, I had two kids in college at the same time. I remember I'm trying to see what the situation was. Well, I had to go get a payday loan. I don't know if it was to help pay tuition or something. My kids had to go to school on student loans. I'm still paying back student loans. But it was an investment in me. I wasn't spending money. I wasn't borrowing money to go buy no $3,000 purses and shoes and all that stuff. Like I told you, I wear the same purse every day. And it's not that I don't have more. Yeah. Not to be boastful or nothing. If I wanted to spend $1,000 on a purse, I could. That's not important to me. It's not. And I found this young lady, girl, let's talk. Love her to death. I love her spirit. I love her spirit. And she's very, very sharp. Very articulate. And in fact, I want to reach out to her about some business stuff I got going on. But yeah, I'm telling y'all, look. Women, we have all the power. We have all the power. So if you're going through something, and that's why I always try to. Well, I always did. I always kept my kids' hair combed. Probably too much Vaseline. My daughter said she remember going to bed, she'd be sticking to the sheet, she'd be so greasy. One thing I'm going to tell y'all, a pet peeve, is a snotty nose and ashy skin on a child. And my daughters will tell you, and my daughter right now is natural, but I think I put her first perm in. One of those little kitty texturizer things, she probably was 4. Her hair is super thick, even today. Super, super, super thick. And they both had long, pretty hair. Still have long, pretty hair, but my oldest daughter cut all of hers off. But I just, when I see a child, hair need to be combed, snotty nose, and I think that whoever the child's parent don't care about them. That immediately reflects on the parent. It does to me. And so I never forget one time my brother-in-law said, "Where y'all going today? Your daughter looks so cute nowhere. But get your children up, groom them, feed them, and let them know they're loved." You know what I'm saying? Somebody care about them. You instill those type of values in them. That's important. That's what she was taught. You understand?